That's it's always a lovely little spot. Now, I'm going to just say, before we get into it, this used to be Baker J's. I'm trying to remember Baker J's. Was it a bakery shop or was it a restaurant?
It was kind of like a cafe, and they had like a fridge stand with all the food in it and that.
Okay.
Up here,
like a deli kind of.
Yeah, like a deli.
And all that. Right.
Before that was Crocs.
Okay. Now we should get into your own story. You guys, the three of you, Colin, Brian, and yourself, you started out in the Wicklow Arms. Yeah. I'm guessing this was already a plan, because three brothers don't end up working in the kitchen together without it being some kind of spoken thing within the family. This is what we want to do. This is what we're going to be. Or
well, myself and Brian had talked about doing it for quite a few years, and we were actually where the name came from. We were going to call it the 2 Qs.
Right.
Which had a bit more ring than 3 Qs. 3 Qs is stuck anyway. So we decided, then we put that aside because we were busy working and whatnot. And then it was when myself and Colin were working up in the organic farm in Mark Michelle's.
Right.
That's when we said, you know what, we can do this. And he's good at that sort of stuff, so he put his eye out. And he saw that Baker J's was up for lease and saw that it was somewhat achievable. So we threw together a business plan one night. He came around to my house, we did it at night, then went to the bank and...
Well, we should say this is 2005, and at that point, I think you got a loan because it was the Celtic Tiger boom. You got a loan for 25.8 million because it was they just basically threw money at everybody. But I'm trying to think now, because there was this sense that you're in the Wicklow Arms. The three of you head off in different directions. You do your own thing. You're kind of working together here and there. You moved around. You're in the Hungry Monk. You end up in Nosh in Dalkey, where you meet the beautiful Jade. Was there a sort of an unspoken or even a spoken kind of plan in the background, someday we'll do this ourselves, or was it just happening that you just worked and that was it wasn't really a case of this was always a master plan?
I think you always want to own your own restaurant.
Right.
You know, it's always something you want to do because you always think you can do it better, and like, you know, you're working in a restaurant, you see how busy it is and you go, oh, look at that, we can make that kind of money for ourselves. It's only when you start doing it you actually realize it's not that easy.
Well, now we should say, very brave person. You decide, okay, we're going to open on a certain, there's all these different dates of the year have a certain connotation, whether it's Christmas or Paddy's Day or whatever. You decide to try your dry run on April 1st in 2006.
Yeah.
It's a hectic time for you. You're about to become a dad.
Yeah.
You're opening a restaurant that you'd always hoped would open. Can you remember the feeling back then? Was it panic? Was it joy? Was it a mixture of quite a few different...
It was a whole bag of emotions, I tell you. It was, I suppose, because the restaurant was opening, I'd never worked on the floor before, so I had to run a floor, which I'd never done, and then be a father, which I'd never done. So it was a lot.
You had a full head of hair at the start of that week, and then
loads.
At the end of the week, like me.
So it's still there.
We should say two things. Really, this is largely down to your mom, Jackie, who still works with you. But you were saying that she kind of, not only was she cooking for 6 at home, but she was also cooking for markets. So what was that? Was she supplying, or was she selling, or what was she doing?
Yeah, well, she still does the local market down in the market down in Newcastle. She still does that. Gives her and my old man something to be still doing. But she was doing like the Killian's market and that. But like, you know, we'd wake up. She'd be up at 3, 4 in the morning, start baking, get us all off school, continue baking. She'd be into the middle of the night. She only seemed to ever sleep about 2 hours a night. And
was that, do you think, the seed of it? Like that, did you kind of as kids just get a passion for it? I don't know if you can say, well, it's her fault, or
all her fault.
Right.
Yeah, no, certainly. Like we saw, like we'd be sitting there watching her make wedding cakes until, like, you know, we went to bed. Yeah. There was always the smell of cooking in the house, and our friends used to love coming around because there was like bags of chocolate buttons and cakes, and she'd give it. Everyone knew our house was kind of like the treat house, you know.
Right. So was there a thought in a teenage mind of, that's a tough line of work? Was there any kind of, you know, like, oh, I'd like to be a rock star, or I'd like to, I don't know, were there other plans at all, or was it always, well, this is what I'm going to do?
I think we always had a passion for food, which, you know, came from working and came from my mum, but then it was the work ethic of my parents, raising 6 kids with not a whole lot, you know. That's where we saw, you know, the hard work, you know.
Yeah. Well, I'm just thinking now, that sort of baptism of starting out in 2006. You've got a good run at it. There's a good time. Only the Happy Pear opening. It isn't a big foodie town yet. Yeah. And then lo and behold, the recession hits. So I'm guessing a few tough years, I would imagine, or at least a tough year or two. Was there any kind of doubt ever, like within those kind of tough years? A lot of people would have wobbled and felt, is this worth it? I don't know if you felt that.
Well, I guess two things. The recession took quite a while to hit Greystones anyway.
Right.
So there was still money, but it did go.
But we're all very rich here, so
yeah. But like, you know, the arse did fall out of it for sure. But then the other thing was that when we opened first, everyone said, you're never going to make any money. There's three brothers, you're all trying to take money out of this, and then other family members working in it. But the beauty was that if everything did go pear-shaped, that we could do it. You know, you'd only need 1 or 2 staff, and you could you could get your way through it. Because, like, you know, what we pay ourselves wouldn't be as much as what it would cost to employ a head chef and sous chef, you know.
Right.
So in that way, it kind of saves you, you know. But it's small, it's modest, it works.
Were there moments then that you sort of stopped and looked around and said, this is really working, or I don't know if you've allowed yourself that moment, because you're getting celebrities kind of, you know, using it, it's got a great reputation, you're winning awards. I mean, were there certain, I don't know if there was this time when you the three of you realized, oh, we made the right decision here, this is working, or have you been too busy to think about these things?
No, it's always been the right decision.
Yeah.
But like now I have 4 kids, Colin has 2 plus 1 imminent, and Brian has a kid as well. So we've kind of been, we got the restaurant up and going, and then had the families, and then, you know, you're just swimming through it. You're trying to keep your head above water. So yeah, reflecting, it's been great.
Right.
But yeah, it's still, you're just trying to survive, really, you know.
But it feels generational to me, because not only obviously your mom inspired you, and then she's here and she's doing her own thing, but then you've also got your daughter works here when it's busy. I mean, would you dare kind of hope and think that, well, this will just keep on going, that we've got a family tradition now, we know what we're doing, we do it well, there's no reason why this won't be here in 10, 20, 30, 40 years time? Would you dare to think like that, or is it too much of a dream to project that far ahead?
I think the main thing is that we're going to keep it going, you know, for the future. But I'd love to see some of my kids going into it, you know, be it here. Yeah. I'd love to. The great thing about, like, my daughter, like I say, working here, is that she learns those skills, and then she can get a job anywhere, and she'll be good at it. And that's a great opportunity, because, like, by the time she gets to being, like, you know, 17, 18, and she's off to college, she'll know how to do it. She'll already have the experience under her belt, and that's great. But I'd love to see some of them going into food. You know, I'd like to see someone being lawyers and dentists and accountants.
That would be nice.
To keep us in our old age.
All main streets now are generally food, you know, coffee and food and all that, because the internet's taken everything else away from us. Yeah. Has it sort of felt joyful, or has it felt slightly fearful that Greystones has so many restaurants now?
Fearful a lot of the time, but then, you know, other places open, we're not like other places. Right. We're very much more intimate in size, and then in knowing our customer as well. You know, a lot of regulars, our business will be mostly regulars anyway. Yeah. So like, we have a niche where some of the bigger restaurants opening, you know, the food is more, you know, easy to put together, it has to be fast, efficient, and then the staff will come and go. We're here, like, we've been very lucky that a lot of our staff have been here since, some of our staff were here since we opened. Right. You know, as we go along. So there's something in that as well, you know, that it's a family business, it feels safe, you know. I
suppose you should wrap up that you've always had one main rival, one restaurant that seems to be neck and neck with you in regard to the cuisine and with the reputation and all that. That, of course, is Joker's right across the road. Has it been a kind of a difficult thing to you know, so you're the Beatles, they're the Rolling Stones, there's that sort of rivalry? Have you, I don't know if you've got, you know, settled the blood between you now, or whether there's still that rivalry sense?
No, because they used to live around the corner from us when we were growing up.
Oh, then. So then it's all good.
We used to wait outside the chippy van. Outside Kimmer Heights. We used to, if we wait long enough, the granddad, he used to hand us bags of chips.
Well, there you go. Well, then it's all good. It's all sound. Lovely job.
Look, we're all friends here.
Rock and roll. Nice.